Hi, welcome back to another episode here on Creepy with Coffee. I'm Kim, your storyteller. Well, for tonight's story, have you ever heard a ghost story so eerie that it seemed to come to life right in front of you? That's exactly what happened to the person who told this story and the cousins the other night. We were just sitting around listening to a spooky tale until something or someone decided to join in. Well, like usual, before we start with our story, if you have yet to do so, please help me like, share, and also subscribe to the channel. And for those who have a little bit of time on your hands, please do drop in nice words down below in the comment section. Now, let's get on to the story.
This is Creepy with Coffee.
When I was a kid, I shared a room with my younger brothers. We even shared the same bed, a super single-size bed with a pull-out mattress underneath. One day, my cousin from Singapore came to visit. Since I lived with my grandfather and aunt, it was like he was coming back from his hometown. Every time he visited Johor, we would always ask him to tell his ghost stories. His stories were always fresh, often ones that we had never heard before. Maybe because he lived in Singapore, the stories he brought weren't the same ones that had already spread around our housing area. Whenever he told his stories, he would sit on top bed while we sat on the pull-out mattress below, like an audience at a spooky storytelling session. So he started his story. The other day in Singapore, there was this really creepy case. A guy went down to check his mailbox late at night. Singaporeans have their own slang and sometimes use different words than we do. If you know, you know. When he reached for his mailbox, he opened it and he found a small white envelope. It looked just like a red packet, but white in color. What was inside the envelope? I interrupted. My cousin replied, $50. Then I was like, wow, $50, that is like 200 ringgit Malaysia. That's a lot of money. Who gave him that cash? Shh, just listen, said my cousin. I was the impassioned type. I always asked questions while someone was telling their stories. My younger brothers, on the other hand, would just listen quietly, covering their mouths with pillows. Okay. There was no note inside the envelope, so the guy just took the money and just kept quiet about it. If someone left cash in the mailbox and that mailbox is his, that means the cash is his, right? Did he spend it? I asked again. Of course, he spent all of it. What else would he do? Save it in the bank? It's just $50. Wait, is this supposed to be a horror story or what? Hold on, my cousin said. I haven't finished yet. You asked too many questions. Alright, continue. After he spent all the money, the same night, around midnight, someone knocked on his door. But just once. My cousin paused for a dramatic effect. I was dying to know what happened next, but I held back from asking since he had already told me twice to be patient. Then he leaned in as if he were listening carefully before continuing. The guy woke up, but since it was one knock, he thought maybe he was dreaming. So he went back to sleep. The moment he lay down, that's when he heard it again. This time, 2 knocks, my cousin said, mimicking the sound and making his face look startled. For some reason, my hair stood on end. Goosebumps ran up my arms and down my neck. So the guy opened his eyes again, but he didn't get out of bed because he wasn't sure if someone was actually knocking at his door in the middle of the night. A pause. After a few moments of silence, he lay back down again. Didn't think much about it. closed his eyes and tried to sleep. And then he heard. Before my cousin could finish his sentence, 3 knocks. But it wasn't part of the story. Imagine this. It's not in the story. It was real. Someone or something had just knocked 3 times on our bedroom window. We freaked out. My cousin jumped off the top bed and we all bolted out of the room like cockroaches scattering in the light. The whole house woke up. It was already past midnight. Who the hell was outside our window? And some more, it's raining heavily outside. When we explained everything to our parents and grandfather, what we were doing and why we ran out screaming, obviously, Asian parents, we got scolded. That night, we all slept together in the living room. I asked my cousin to finish his story, but he refused, saying if he continued, none of us would be able to sleep. So the next morning, he told us the rest of the story. Apparently, the guy in the story also heard 3 knocks, similar to us like the night before. And this time, he didn't just lay there. He got up and opened his door. Stood outside his door was his neighbor. But his neighbor has been dead for at least 3 days now. Then my cousin explained, remember the white envelope with $50 inside? In Chinese tradition, people would bring white packets with money to funerals as a condolence gift for the family of the deceased. Someone must have come to visit the dead man's family, but they weren't home, so they dropped the white packet inside the mailbox. It's just that they dropped it in the wrong mailbox. Maybe because he spent the money recklessly, the dead neighbor came back to claim it. Now, that is his story. The real question here is, who or what knocked on our window the night before? Well, whoever or whatever it was, it must have been listening to our stories. It knew exactly when to knock 3 times. And that was the scariest part of all. Well, that is the story for tonight. What do you think? Was it just eerie coincidence or was something truly lurking outside our window that night? And have you ever experienced something similar when you are listening to or telling your ghost stories? Something else happened at the same time? Let me know down below in the comment section, but if you have longer stories, do send it to my email. Once again, this is Kim and you're listening to Creepy with Coffee. Remember to lock your windows tonight or else something might come in. Until the next episode.